Yep. All right. So I should set the timer myself. Okay, so why global investors struggle in Japan and how we can fix it. So if you know Japan, its startup culture has been booming of late, with many cool stories, Mercari Payday, and smart news included. And of late, we've got success stories like Sakana AI, which has been the fastest growing unicorn in Japan. Tier 4 is autonomous self-driving technology on display at Sushi Tech, and so on. But for global investors, they face many obstacles, including deal flow, barriers, legal and structural hurdles. There's just a lack of angels and early stage support in Japan. And founders in Japan tend to be more domestic focused than thinking beyond Japan's shores. That's why we want to tackle this to help global investors get access to deal flow, help them navigate the structural barriers and hurdles, help them to develop a global network of angels that are interested in investing and supporting Japan, and to help develop this more of a global mindset in the whole Japan startup ecosystem. So we're developing a 12-week onboarding program for global investors to really get started connecting with founders and making their first investment in Japan. It's going to give them direct access to my network, the founders of peers and experts, accelerators, et cetera, et cetera. And we're giving them the tools through this 12-week program. Think of it like an online kind of coaching cohort where they'll get access to everything from templates to understanding JKISS, financial instruments, deal sourcing, due diligence, building their thesis, the whole kit and caboodle. So this works because we're following the natural arc of an angel. And that means everything from just starting out to understand how the Japan ecosystem works, all the way through to making the investment and post-investment support, and then looking for your next deal. We emphasize the importance of mindset, community, and building real connections. And we're just getting started. We're also looking to do immersion trips with groups of angel investors, bringing them to Japan, especially for big conferences like Sushi Tech and IBS. We'll do quarterly pitching events, and eventually we want to put together a global syndicate. I've worked with over 50 founders in Japan as an advisor, and now I want to take that to the next step and become the founder of Japan Angel Hub. There's a few positions there, as you can see. US makes up most of the angel investors, but I'm looking globally to bring a diverse array of mindsets and people into Japan. We've kicked off the outreach this week, and if you're interested in following us, scan the QR code for more information. All right, that was like 2 minutes 55.
Speed pitching. Nice.
All right. Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Hit me.
Okay.
Destroy me.
Very, very interesting. I think the visuals are very appropriate for the the context. Obviously, angels, Japan. I see the connection there. But yeah. So my understanding of the problem is that angels don't know how they don't have enough deals to invest in Japan. Is that it? Or
I guess, yeah, sorry. So I tried to kind of frame it as they struggle with deal flow, they struggle like navigating the landscape, not connecting with local angels, and the fact that I guess people tend to be quite domestic focused as opposed to looking beyond Japan's borders.
okay, so why wouldn't I just invest if I'm a US angel investor, why wouldn't I just invest in the US?
Yeah, you would. That's right.
Oh, so
But mhm.
so I think the in terms of framing who it's for, it's
Yep,
global investors who want to invest elsewhere outside their market. Yeah,
diversify.
yeah.
Yep, yep,
I
yep.
think that would be clear in terms of who the
Okay.
problem is for, I think. Um, yeah, because also there's language barrier. There's like all these other type stuff that would prevent somebody from doing it. For example, overly domestic focus. Why would I want to invest in somebody who's only thinking about that, right? Is that
Right.
something where the deal flow is just going to give me a, a bunch of founders who are only domestic focused? You know what I mean? So if
Yep.
that's something attractive for me at all, why would I want to do that as a US
Sure.
investor? You know what I mean? So
Yep.
um yeah, is the market size here in Japan for an angel investor even big enough, right? In terms of the deals for those type of companies going abroad. South Korea, Southeast Asia are a much more attractive market for my money than Japan, based on what you're saying here.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, so I think there's something there. I just think that how are you framing it to make it make sense for your target customer?
Yeah.
What strategic benefits does Japan have over those other markets?
Mm.
Why should I care about investing here? You know what I mean? Because Japan is actually, they want more investment. They want more founders to build from here. Maybe talk about that, the government, right? Talk about the government's involvement in that. Talk about the push for getting more foreign founders here to build from here. Talk about the exciting things that are going on in the sense of bringing more founders here or bringing more international money here and how they're making it easier if they are. Because if they're not making it easier, then why would I want to?
Yeah.
I think they're actually making it harder for business manager visa. So
Sort of, yeah, they are, but startup visa is still untouched for
it's
now.
still there, right?
For now. Yeah.
But if I'm an angel investor, I'm probably investing what, 50,000, 100,000 max, maybe less. So is that enough for a startup to get off the ground or even afford the business manager visa once I get them the investment? So that's something to consider as well. Another thing about the slides, templates are good, but sometimes they force you into the template. So the one thing just visually, I think that you're kind of stuck in this type of template. Be wary of that because there's so much more you can do like visually with these slides, like with graphs, charts, like all those type things that if you stick to one template that's very, very like rigid, I think it could limit you in terms of your storytelling. So yeah, just be careful of that. But overall, I like the excitement. I think that you're really passionate about this. It's clear through everything that you've been doing the past couple of weeks. It's pushing you in this direction. So let's just keep validating and making sure that this is a need that somebody has, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
What else do you guys think? Yeah. Any other feedback, questions for Matt?
It was terrible. I only put it together in 30 minutes and
It
it
was
should be
great.
destroying me.
It was great. Well, I mean, similar to previously, we talked about storytelling and case study. So, I mean, I guess, what Leo's also saying, if there's a particular, target, someone in the US who wants to invest in Japan, who's faced this barrier, or, maybe who's already invested in Korea, but now they want to tackle Japan for whatever reason, maybe just create that ideal customer, the persona, I guess, in that case. And of course, with 30 minutes in, that's, to be done. But, I think, who wants to invest in Japan? And then we can kind of, visualize, imagine that person. For me, it's obvious, but I live here, so why wouldn't you want to invest in us, invest in Japan? But maybe for folks outside, as Lee said, it's not as obvious.
Yeah, better to sell that story.
Right.
Sweet.
I was waiting for the case study.
I wish I had one.
Okay.
I wish I had one.
I haven't seen the case study, so yeah,
Yeah.
don't worry. But you mentioned you mentioned your expertise very shortly. Like if you go that like I 7, what was it, 70? Like the
50.
no, you the one of the last slides you mentioned how many startups you
Yeah, right here.
50 founders. Okay. But then it was so this I already forgot it. So this is maybe
That's right.
like you have to hammer it or like nail it, like Lee's keep saying. So that's kind of what I shouldn't forget. Like, okay, this is special. I think that's kind of even like a case study, same.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and tell us a little bit more about these founders. Why would I want to invest in them? Like, what have you been doing with them? Right? So like you've worked with them, but how and what capacity? Have you done an acceleration program with them? Have you mentored them? Are they raising their next round? Are they looking Are they first-time founders? 'Cause I don't want to invest in those type people. I want to invest in people who have made it before or have traction. So I think a little bit more about your involvement with these would be really good and impactful for the pitch.
Yep.
That's like a deal flow. You already have 50 founders ready to go to, match with angel investors. So because you're doing like a marketplace, so there's supply and demand. You need both, right? So you already have the founders. Now it's getting the angels involved.
Yeah.
Why would I want to invest in those founders? Tell us a little bit about the ones and your impact on them. Yeah.
And maybe the business in Japan. I don't know if you want to mix it, but I think that's also a big reference. Yeah.
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 Unfair advantage. Yeah.
And one question, Matt. So why do you want to solve this problem? I guess all the problems that have been mentioned today are quite large, and so maybe everybody can answer the same question. Why do you want to tackle this? It may become more difficult to invest, or certainly the succession issue. It's a very big why. Why is it just is to make money? I mean, that's one, but obviously, why do you want to tackle this angel investor, issue?
Because I've seen other people try to do it. And I can list some names, but I won't name call. But they haven't done it well enough. And I think so. You're starting to see like accelerators like Antler and Techstars, and they're actually doing quite well now, especially in the early stage. Like from day zero, they invest. I think Ian, you're in like the new Antler program. I think I saw. Is that right? Maybe anyway. So historically, I saw people not do it very well. You've got some accelerators now that are starting to like build that support or build that infrastructure. I think the only thing that's missing now is like a dedicated angel group to come in and like at first it's global investors because I think it's a little bit easier of a play. The more difficult play is then connecting them with the local angel investors in Japan. And I don't know if that's viable or something I'm able to do, but eventually I would like to. But yeah, so after seeing people try to do it and not do it very well, this is something that I think there's a big gap there. It's pretty obvious that early stage capital in Japan, and I've got some stats I should have chucked in this time, is pretty thin. And so I think now, especially since COVID, you've seen like the government's renewed focus. There's all these events, like there's all this much more activity in Japan. Like if you look at Antler alone, there was 1,000 applications for the last cohort. So there's activity there. Now they just need more support. So that's kind of how I feel.
What about the trillions of dollars just sitting in Japanese bank accounts, right?
Yeah.
Or billions of yen, sorry, that's just sitting in Japanese bank accounts that could be used for stuff like this. Do you
Well,
think
yeah, I'd love to get to it. Yeah, but I think like it's easier to appeal to global investors and bring them in first. And I feel that will have a flow-on effect to start to educate people in the local space to say, hey, this could be an opportunity, especially if they see more people coming in to invest.
what would be a really great idea is that if you were to able to get some angels from Australia, be like, I already have these people on board that are looking to invest in Japan. They're looking to invest in Japan because the market here in Australia is too small. Like, make that connection that way. And that way you can also like make some traction in terms of validation. Like, hey, I have this angel group in Australia that really wants to invest in Japan. That's a clear like showing that you have validation,
Yep.
So yeah.
No, that's a good idea.